Hey guys, Alex Swire-Clark, emotional intelligence expert, author, and award-winning speaker here, taking a little stroll through the neighborhood today, talking about emotional intelligence as we always do. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe to all the videos that you see here that you find valuable for your personal and professional life. On today's episode, we're talking about consistency. And so I got, like so many of you, we get to our inboxes full of emails that have to do with leadership or things that we're interested in. Maybe it's pottery making or paintball or whatever happens to be. And so I recently got one that said that repetition is the mother of success. Repetition, as the dogs bark at me, that's great. Repetition is the mother of success. And so I have a little bit of a problem with that, because when we go back in the day, in terms of when we were younger, we used to hear the words practice makes perfect. Well, my argument is that practice doesn't necessarily make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Practice makes permanent. Practice, in my opinion, makes permanent. So when we're talking about in our daily lives and our consistency in terms of business and everything else that we do, if we're doing something over and over the same way, that's going to become a habit. And so when that becomes a habit, that becomes something that's ingrained into our brains forever and always until we break that habit. So from my perspective, if I'm out on the golf course and I'm trying to hit a 7-iron, I'm trying to hit it properly, for me, if I'm doing the right things and swinging the club and not trying to hit the ball, I'm going to achieve some kind of consistency. Now, that might be consistently bad, it might be consistently good, but it's going to be consistent. And so for that mindset, I go back to when I was 7 or 8 years old, and I never hit the ball well. If you're a golfer, you know that you can pick the ball, or you can hit the ball fat, or you can have a descending blow. There's all kinds of different ways that you can hit the ball and get it to go down the fairway, but not necessarily the right way. And it wasn't until recently that I started learning actually how to compress the ball, hit the ball correctly with a downward blow with my irons and so forth like that. So all those years I had been practicing and practicing and practicing, but I never had a mentor, never had a teacher, never had lessons growing up. So I did things the wrong way. From that email this morning, it said, that consistency, that repetition is the mother of success. That's true if you're doing the right things. So think about in your professional life right now, in your personal life, what are the things that you're doing right, that you're consistently doing over and over? Maybe it's just little things we take for granted, like maybe brushing your teeth every day. That's good for your teeth, right? Brushing, flossing, doing that kind of stuff every day. And most of us do that, pretty frequently. Some of us do it twice a day. Some of us floss every day. If you do, whoa, kudos to you. I'm not a flosser every day. But for the perspective of the other things in our lives, we try to eat well, or well-balanced meals. We try to exercise, Peloton and Nordic Track and all those things are out there these days. So we're trying to do things the right way, as I'm trying to block the sun with my head right now. So we try to do things the right way when we're intentional about it, right? But it's intentional. And so unless we are being intentional in our daily thoughts and our daily walk, we're not going to have the results that we want. So consistency, yeah, that's great. And repetition, yeah, that's great, but it's doing things the right way. And so when you've got the Pelotons and the Nordic Tracks of the world that are doing what they do, they've got a coach on there that's kind of getting you going and doing the right things and doing them the right ways. And so from a business standpoint, what are we doing consistently that's doing it the right way? So do you have processes that you follow every day that are consistent, that bring you the results that you want? Or are you just kind of hem-hawing and trying new things all the time, and every day's a new idea and you're going to try this and see if that works? When you talk about creating a YouTube channel, unless you've already got some fame built in, it's really hard to start a YouTube channel and to grow it, because there's just so many different strategies out there, and people say, oh, do this and do that and do whatever. And for varied success, YouTube is a long game. It's something that you've got to do consistently over and over, but you got to do it the right way. So many people have bought a $500 course that says, grow your YouTube channel to 1 million subscribers in 6 months. Well, that's just not realistic for 99.9% of the people who are out there. My YouTube channel certainly doesn't have 1 million subscribers on it, and I've been working on that channel for about 2 years now. But what I do is I consistently provide value, and so people come back there, they ask questions, we answer those. We're very interactive on our channel, and so it's meaningful to the people that are making use of it. Repetition is the mother of success. I agree to a point, but it's got to be the right kind of repetition. It's got to be things that are done that have been successful. So in the business world, how do we find the things that are successful over and over? How do we build in that repetition? Well, For me, mentors are a great source of that. Finding people that have done what I want to do and getting around those folks, getting their ideas, getting their enthusiasm, getting their processes so they don't have to reinvent the wheel. And so another part of that is building in processes that anyone can implement. I was speaking to a group the other day in Kansas City, and then I was up in Long Island last week. I was also, where was I? I was over in Baltimore as well, doing some engagements. And one of the things that I spoke to them about was, creating situations where your people have processes that can follow that are like a recipe, right? Because everyone can go to a box of Betty Crocker cake mix and say, okay, here's how I bake a cake. Do this. You're going to need these ingredients. Boom, 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 boom. You're going to need oil, water, flour, whatever it happens to be. And then you're going to turn on the oven. You're going to preheat it, and you follow the steps in that process. If we don't create steps in our daily life that are process driven, then we're just kind of all over the place. Some of us are very task oriented and we can get things done in a very logical manner during the day. And some of us are on the people side and we're kind of all over the place. And so we need to make sure that our people have processes where they can say, okay, I need to do this, this, and this, and this to be successful. And all that goes back to, if you go to the top layer of that, it goes back to your mission, vision, and values. So what are we doing to make sure that everyone knows whatever action they take needs to be towards the mission, vision, and values of the company? Repetition, the mother of success, yes, when it's done correctly. You're learning your ABCs and all that kind of stuff, learning phonics, those things when we were younger. Those things matter because that consistency is doing it over and over again, assuming it's done the right way. If we're teaching handwriting to a child and they start learning their letters incorrectly, well, then they're going to write incorrectly for the most of their lives until they make a change to do something with that. So in your lives, find things that are consistent, find ways to repeat good processes that are best practice, processes that are proven, and that will cut your learning curve down. That will cut down a lot of the insanity in your companies. That'll cut down a lot of the insanity in your relationships. We can get into the personal side of that in a future podcast. So that's kind of some food for thought for today. Again, if you're new to the channel, I would love for you to subscribe, like any videos that you find here. We appreciate your time. Thanks so much, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.